Welcome home, Raiders. Tonight, we're going to talk a little bit of classic WoW. We're going to talk a little bit of, I guess I'm going to call it WoW Prime, because, I don't know, that seems right to me for some reason. And we're also going to talk about why the hell Thyst is not here tonight. All that and so much more as Convert to Raid presents the Battlenet News! Ah, yes. From the Convert to Raid Command Post in Sacramento, California. Today is May 28th, 2019, and it is now 7:06 in the PM. Pacific time, of course. Thanks so much for joining us from all around the world of Warcraft and beyond. My name is Pat Krane, your host for this evening, and the players are here as well. From the Overwatch Daily Show, it's John Horstmann.
It's just Tactical Crouch now, Pat.
Oh, is it? Is it just Tactical Crouch?
Overwatch League Daily is gone.
Oh, boy.
Long gone.
Oh, man. I thought you were still doing it.
No. I did it and stopped doing it at the end of last season.
Okay. All right.
When I got a full-time job and I couldn't stay up until 4 a.m. editing anymore.
What? Aww.
Oh, what right? The things we do for money.
That's right. And also from maybe he's not doing this anymore. I'm not sure. Lagging Balls. I'm pretty sure he's still doing. It's Thorn. Hello, Thorn.
Definitely still lagging balls.
Okay.
Thanks,
All right. You got it. Well, welcome, fellas, to the show. No Thyst tonight. We'll talk about that in just 1 second. But it's nice having you both. You fine fellows both here.
Thank you.
And I want to catch up with you guys because it's been a while. So, John, other than you just doing Tactical Crouch now,
yeah.
What else is going on?
In game, and that's the name of the show. Yeah.
Right. That's the only thing.
Activity and the podcast. Yes.
Right. What else is going on?
A lot. Playing a ton of WoW. A ton of WoW. Katie is max level with me now, and so we've been playing a ton of WoW together. She basically comes home from work. We sit down. We play WoW until we order in some DoorDash or whatever, and we go back, play some more WoW, then go to bed.
That's crazy.
That's it. It's the best.
So now she has not necessarily been totally down with World of Warcraft before, has she? I mean, like,
yeah. So she's basically brand new, which is really cool. So we tried in Legion, tried to roll tunes, and she was just kind of, we're gonna try it from the perspective of just like roll on your own and to figure it out and have that. And she didn't love it. She got to like 60, so she got pretty far into it.
Sure.
And then it just kind of like tapered off. I think I stopped playing for a while too. And so about a month and a half ago, we boosted. Well, we bought the expansion, so we boosted 110s together and kind of leveled together with my friend Dave. And we've been playing a ton ever since. She really likes it. She's over. Let's see what she's doing right now.
What's she playing?
She's farming. She's on a Frost Mage right now, and she's farming. She's finishing up her war campaign, actually.
Oh, there you go. That's nice.
That's what she's got going on. But she had her first ever, like, exploring WoW and all its beautiful, also awful, like, parts of, like, Group Finder and all that stuff. So
sure.
She's addicted to mounts and transmog now.
Nice.
Oh, of course.
Absolutely. She's perfect. Right up her alley.
Right.
So she is going through and kind of learning the content that she can solo and the content that she can't solo. And you know how sometimes if you don't, like you got to know how to change the raid to heroic difficulty in order to get some things to drop and not do that. So she had kind of some of those revelations yesterday. Also had somebody ninja the transmog that she wanted.
Oh no!
Yeah, I'm like, welcome to WoW, babe. Yeah, this is it right here.
That's right.
So it was, but other than that, like she's really loving it. We set up her whole. She's gonna start streaming soon.
Cool.
So when she was gone for a week, and so I set up her whole, we call it Katie's Corner, because I have this big studio. She's like, you know what? I want a gaming setup and do things too. And I'm like,
cool.
We don't really have room. We'll just use the corner. And so it's like, I'm out here. I'm like, look at me. And then she's like huddled up in the corner, vertical monitors, kind of going like scrunched up. And it's I look like an abusive husband.
Set her free, John.
That's cool though. I mean, I'm glad that she's having fun in game and stuff like that. I know that I've told the story of my wife playing WoW. And it lasted for an hour. She got to level 4 on her hunter and said, "Okay, I'm done now."
Yeah.
So I mean, that's pretty cool. That's awesome.
I had an ex who tried it for about as long on a laptop with a touchpad and refused to use a mouse. And needless to say, she did that and she rolled Alliance, and that's pretty much the explanation as to why we're not together anymore.
Wow. Wow.
Petty.
So, Thorn, what's been going on in your world lately?
Overwatch all day, all night. Well, I wish, but during a lot of the free time, I've just been doing a lot of. I'd say that I've been taking myself to university of sorts. So I've been spending a lot of time just trying to learn a lot of the things that I haven't picked up naturally, really refine some of the mechanics, get things down, learn some of the intermediate things, try and find out the roles and the heroes that I can be the most effective on, especially in comp.
Wow.
And
you're really kind of tearing it apart, aren't you?
Really digging in and really enjoying that a lot with my friend Drew, and he and I have just been doing a ton of duoing, and we've decided that it's time to really get into comp more than just the placement matches this season, and really try and move up. So
wow,
so I'm having a blast doing it, having a really good time.
Duoing is my favorite way to play Overwatch. Yeah, it's just like it's got the right amount. I love playing in like a 6-stack. But there's something broken with the matchmaking when like you play with a full group and you get with like other full groups of like pro Smurfs. It feels like oh yeah, you guys have been doing this since it came out. Like this is not a one-time fun thing for me to do.
So when you duel, are you how are you doing that? Are you just we
synergize our heroes.
Okay,
we go in saying okay, at least 2 people on the team will actually have synergized heroes with a common goal, and we decide what that is based on the rest of the comp because we usually pick last, and then we tell them what we're planning to do with that synergizing, and sometimes even ask if people will switch so that they can synergize better, that sort of thing.
Oh, nice.
He's also in the same sort of situation, doing a lot of studying, watching a ton of videos, lots of instructional stuff, lots of insight videos. It's less stuff about like current metas and things like that, and more about the proper way to choose comps, which supports complement each other. Things that like John, you're nodding your head. I'm sure this is really super basic stuff. But prior to this, for me it was a lot of just kind of go in and play, and the people would say things like, well, what about this comp, or how this comp doesn't seem to work, or whatever. And I realized I don't know what they're talking about. I realized I don't naturally understand this stuff. So I'm going to go find out. And it turns out that once I started studying, I loved the process of studying, and I've dived headlong in. I've been watching streams like crazy, mostly replays on YouTube because I just have some favorites and I really want to get some of that.
John, that's what you should do with all of your not free time that you have. You should start Overwatch school and just go to town. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah, I mean, there's some great resources. I'm sure you found a ton. Have you found Jane's channel yet?
Absolutely, I love Jane.
Jane's amazing.
Jane has some of my all-time favorites. There's a great one of him shot calling on Lucio, and it's so fun to watch him do that.
So Jane and I know Jane pretty well, so he's really cool. We did some stuff with Dallas Fuel for Tactical Crouch, and so we had
nice.
With that. He was like, he still is, even as a coach, still is kind of like the gold standard, because it's kind of hard for competitive Overwatch stuff right now. There's actually a lot more stuff about like eSports than there is about getting better at playing the actual game, because in some ways, Overwatch League has kind of overshadowed Overwatch as a game.
Sure.
in it's, like I don't play nearly as much Overwatch as I do making content about Overwatch League and talking about it and studying that. So it's
Cool.
It is fun though. Those counters deceptively deep, right? Like you're just like, this is fun. I'm Genji, I'm good. And like, what do I die every time? You're like, oh, that's a counter. Oh, that's what that is.
Right.
And I still don't know nearly as much as I need to.
Yeah, I feel like the counters were kind of the first natural thing that you tend to learn. I shouldn't say that that's natural for everybody. It was probably more of the natural thing that I started to learn first, but there are a lot of different ways to counter a lot of different heroes for a bunch of them, but not for all of them. A couple of them only have a couple of counters, which is also interesting.
Right.
But that's the part that I think was like kind of immediately apparent to me. However, I still play with plenty of people for whom that is clearly not still obvious at all.
Yeah, it's there's some funny ones. Like I love it when Zarya is my main, and so like I have like over 400 hours on Zarya or something like that, and so that's when I got Masters with the first time, and I know I literally can't play any other hero probably above like a gold platinum level, but my Zarya is sick, and like knowing like you're playing against a diva and like the diva matrix doesn't work against Zarya, and you just see them flashing the matrix in your face and like, yes, this is the best.
Keep doing it. Keep wasting it.
Yeah, please, let's go.
Right.
So, yeah.
And then you throw the ult, and then you're
giving me the Overwatch. Yeah, you're giving me the Overwatch itch now.
Yeah.
Oh boy, look out. We have a lot of World of Warcraft to talk about tonight.
Indeed.
We have a lot of World of Warcraft to talk about tonight, and so we're just gonna get into the news. And like I said, it's World of Warcraft.
A clever strategy.
Thank you. Now, first up on our agenda is that at some point during the show tonight, for those guys that are listening to the audio side of things, that are listening to the podcast part of the show, you're going to get a special treat because I'm going to talk to Thyst, even though she's not on this particular show, because I talked to her earlier tonight about her thing that she's doing. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but Thyst is kind of a big deal now, kind of a big shot, because she is gonna be helping out with the Mythic Dungeon Spring Finals LAN in Sydney, Australia. Ow! Yeah, so guys, please make sure to watch if you can. Now, of course, the event is during our nighttime here in North America. I think it starts at like I don't know, like I think the first night is like 11 p.m. my time, Pacific time. Then like 8 hours of MDI or whatever it is. So you might be able to watch might be able to watch the VODs in the morning.
Sure.
But oh boy, it's going to be tough.
I'm definitely going to do some evening nappage to try and catch some of that late night.
I want to definitely catch it live. She's going to be sideline reporting, so she's going to be doing interviews and talking to people behind the scenes and stuff like that, and talking about all the different strats they're using and about their wins and their fails, and hopefully getting some of that story, some of that juicy story to all of us through the MDI. And so it's going to be her with Automatic Jack, Sloot, Nagura, Sours, and Zyronic. And so it should be a pretty good show.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's June 7th, 8th, and 9th.
Yes.
It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yes. It actually starts the 6th here. Well, in Pacific time, but not for very long. But it's like the very end of the 6th. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, oof. It's going to be, but it should be a fun event. So good luck to Thyst. And like I said, if you're listening to the audio portion of the show, then we'll talk to Thyst in a bit. I'm not sure where I'm going to put it in. Maybe I'll put it in at the beginning of the show. I have no idea. I don't know. But it's fun. It's fun. It's a fun thing. All right. Let's move on to current WoW. Guys,
It's funny that you have to say that now.
well, and that's why I'm like, we should just call it WoW Prime. I don't want to call it retail because that's silly.
Yeah.
Right? That's like a very technical industry phrase.
Do they have a term for those places in the World of Warcraft where there's an instanced version of the older? You know how there's a couple of places throughout Azeroth where like you can go to the old version of that place by going to talk to a certain NPC.
Silithus, you can do that.
Sure.
Yeah. Is there a name for that when you come back to
I think that might be like the time. I don't know. I don't know what they call it. Like
maybe that's our key to nomenclature for.
I like good WoW.
Live current.
I'm gonna make all the classic fans mad, and we're gonna call the current version good WoW.
Okay. Well,
and we're gonna call classic not so good WoW, but you don't remember it.
Tough WoW. How about tough WoW or easier than you remember it? Tough WoW.
Dude, I've seen how hard those elites hit. Doesn't look that tough to me, man.
Yeah, it's that was one of the things. I guess we're moving on to classic.
I don't
now.
want to jump all the way down there.
I guess we're moving on to classic now.
It was just a foreshadow. Just a foreshadow.
But so one of the things that people have said about classic was, I remember the elites hitting so much harder before, and then they did a test and they said, nope, it's the same. So we'll probably get into that a little bit later as well, because there's more to that. I want to kick it off with current WoW though,
yes.
John.
Good WoW. Yeah.
Are you guys through your war campaigns? And
crushed it.
And did you receive the gift of N'Zoth? Yeah, that's the eyeball thing on your forehead.
I don't know.
You don't know?
Like, I don't know. Like, I must not have, or I must have I'm gotten rid of it or something.
Right, because there was another quest that was to cleanse it, to cleanse the gift of N'Zoth off of you. So
why would you still have it? Is really
right. I mean, it popped
I'm not
up.
An idiot. Okay, good.
So
okay.
it popped up right.
So much better now.
It popped right after you were done with the N'Zoth Eye quest. You had this thing where you could get rid of it. Okay, so you probably have it gone now. Thorn, are you still? Do you still have the gift of N'Zoth, or did you get rid of it?
I do not.
Okay, then I'm the only one on this show that kept it because I was like, I'm going to keep it. We're just going to see. We're going to ride this thing out. I don't know what's going to happen, but I heard I heard that there was a choice you could make, and so I'm making the choice not to do that stupid quest, even though it shows up every time I pass by this point on the map. It shows up, and I go, "Oh man, I should talk to that guy over there." And
the exclamation point is just pulling at your.
Then I'm like, damn it! So, but this last Thursday or whatever, I log in, and what do I hear? I hear N'Zoth whispering to me, N'Zoth, blah, 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 all this gibberish. I don't know what it is, and he won't shut up.
It was constant?
It was constant. It was just the entire time I was logged in for that day, it was just non-stop.
That's a little bit much.
And I'm like, I can't play right now. And I don't want to get rid of it because I'm making a choice, Yeah. so I'm like, all right. So I just I think I played a different character.
You can't go back and cleanse it, or
I could
click a debuff or something.
I could totally cleanse it off of me, but I don't want to do that because I want to make the choice not to, and see what happens. You can
complain about it on your podcast,
right? Exactly. Just so I could complain about it. No, for reasons, just because. Hey, what happens when something's going to happen in 8.2? With that stupid gift of N'Zoth, and I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna ride it out.
20% damage buff.
Who knows? Maybe maybe
Too bad Pat's a healer. Yeah.
Maybe everybody else will like the people that remove the gift of N'Zoth will just disappear. They won't. I mean, I'm guessing they won't. Maybe it's just a snap of a finger and half the
people
population.
People who had it cleansed have to go back and play classic WoW. They're only allowed on the classic servers.
There you go. So after that, however, on Friday and till today, it's just for 15, 20 seconds. So much better. Thank goodness. So much better. It's it's creepy whispering for a little bit, and then he stops, and you go, sweet. Okay.
If you're a Shadow Priest, though, you get that creepy whispering every time you go into Void Eruption. Yeah. So maybe it wouldn't even phase me. I'm so used to creepy whispering at this point.
Right. And now we're going to get back to the Xalatath stuff. And I mean, we've already kind of done that, right? So we've kind of moved on with Xalatath. We're going to see more with Xalatath later on, I guess. And so, yeah, creepy whispers. That's what it's all about these days. That's what's happening. Oh, man. We should move on, though, because there's more.
Talk about whispering.
No. It's just too much.
We can make this an ASMR podcast.
Right. This is the ASMR Dark Whisper podcast.
There has to be like a market for ASMR podcasts.
Absolutely.
Sure.
There has to be. That has to be a thing.
Absolutely it does.
I'm gonna make a competitive Overwatch podcast, and it's gonna be ASMR.
Competitive ASMR.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be.
I don't know how you do that.
So much harder than you.
I don't know how you do that, but I'm intrigued. So good luck on that one. Also, just so everybody knows, 8.2 testing continues, and this last week we saw the Azshara, Queen Azshara raid testing, right? So you go down and you see the big lair, and you see like these giant Titan heads laying about.
Nothing gets me going like some Titan head layabouts.
Wow, I didn't know that about you.
It's TMI.
You should put that on your profile.
Can you whisper that for me so I can put that on my ASMR podcast? Sure. Yeah, thanks.
Dark whispers.
That was great.
Yeah, that was nice.
That was actually really good.
That was pretty good.
You've got a future, kid. Hey, Thorn, want to do a podcast?
Yes. You do left, I'll do right.
Wow. That would be very, very different.
This podcast took a turn, Pat.
Idiots in Stereo. That's what it would be called.
We got a name. Can we be part of the network, Pat?
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of idiotic things, this is the most idiotic thing I've ever seen from raid testing. Okay, is that if you could, like, people started emoting at Queen Azshara, right? Like /rude /whatever, and initially she just kill you dead.
That's amazing.
If you did anything, she'd just kill you. Now she's doing other things. Now she's doing a lot of different things, and it's
like
kind of
dancing on mailboxes, or
kinda. I don't know. Actually, you should have heard about this because I gave you the link for it.
I did hear about it. I'm setting you up, Pat.
Right. The best thing is, if you do a /root or /spit or /angry or whatever, she can turn you into a gas cloud.
So great.
Too late, by the way, Azshara.
She can make you puke forever, essentially. She can turn you into all sorts of weird stuff. And yeah,
my favorite one about the puke, though, is the AoE damage that it does to everybody around you, and how it'll just keep going until you die.
Right.
It reminds me of that cold intro of The Office where one of them starts throwing up and then everybody starts throwing up because they're seeing everybody else doing it. It's just like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now in WoW form. That's great.
Yeah.
Amazing.
This is the dumbest thing ever. And if you do something nice to her, like a /hug or a /kiss or /flirt or whatever, you will earn Queen's Disgust, where she laughs at your advance, and then she turns you hostile to everybody in your group. It's like,
I love it.
This is the dumbest thing ever, isn't it?
Yes, it's amazing.
Yeah, but welcome to like WoW achievements. Aren't like half of them just the dumbest things ever? Like,
absolutely.
Absolutely. And there is an achievement side to this, I think. I think you have to get that.
If it pleases the court.
It does not. This just in. It does not please the court. No matter what.
This is. I think that this should be a new thing, though. I mean,
absolutely.
You don't. This is the first time that I've heard about something like this for a while.
Yeah.
Right?
Because I tend to emote at bosses like if we're standing around for too long. That's what I'll end up like getting bored to do and just like
when somebody's like talking about
something.
strats and stuff like that, and you're like, ugh, let's just go already.
This again.
Let's just Leroy this thing and get going. Come on.
After typing go for the sixth time.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm hoping that they do more with this kind of thing, because this is.
I like it. It's so simple.
This is the fun stuff that WoW is kind of about, in my opinion.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's the little things. I honestly would have been totally fine with just everything resulting in just instant death.
Yeah,
Even-
that would have been
even
great.
if that was the only thing.
Don't emote at the boss or you'll die. I love that. That's
Or you will
great.
die.
That would have been
It breaks
fun.
my immersion a little bit.
Right. That would have been fun, but I think that this is even more fun, because it's like you can really mess up an entire raid group just by doing this.
Yeah.
And that's awesome.
Pug, yeah.
Oh man, I'm
You're gonna have
thinking
to watch
about
it with pugs.
LFR now.
Oh my God.
Oh no. Oh no. So this is also going to be
That's
one of
evil.
those.
Oh, no.
This is going to be one of those things too
That's
that
evil.
in like 2 or 3 expansions, I feel like it's gonna be relatively revered as something really cool. You know, you've got the big
Absolutely.
red button in, I forget, is it
Mimiron?
War?
Yeah, Mimiron's head.
Mimiron said.
Yeah,
By the
yeah.
way, I got that mount first try.
Really?
Yeah, first
Oh,
try.
screw
running
you.
through it.
All right. John's off the show now.
And so here's you want to know what really creams my corn? Katie got Ashes of Alar 3rd try.
Wow.
Wow.
Best mount in the game by far. Ashes of
Yeah.
Alar. Besides Mimiron's head.
Mimiron's head's pretty cool.
I could go on in my life.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, so I got it like first try, which was really cool. I was actually in there for transmog, and I'm like, I'm just gonna finish it and see if I get the mount. It drops, and I'm like, well, and then so Katie got Ashes, so we didn't speak for like a week and a half. It was probably the most trialing part of our marriage in the year and a half that we've been married.
It's just over Mimiron's head.
Those are the real issues, man.
Or, sorry,
that you
Ashes.
got to deal with as a couple.
Like for anybody going through marital issues, I'm not trying to make light of that at all. I apologize if that was sensitive, but that was not what I was going for.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
You mentioned Big Red Button. And apparently there is kind of a big red button also with Operation Mechagon. That's going to be the new mega dungeon for 8.2, right?
Mega dungeon.
Mega dungeon. But there was a hard mode discovered. It was posted just today, so I'm not sure exactly what was going on. But Wowhead,
it's
right?
pretty cool, right? Yeah, and it's pretty cool that there's a hard mode for each of the bosses, and to get to the subsequent boss, you have to continue doing the hard mode beforehand, and it's all tied to an overhead aerial attack that I would think you would normally wait for that to go by, because it's dropping AoE and dropping damage and lightning and things like that on the ground. So it restricts the play space. It makes it harder to do the fight that you're in by having that thing present. So normally you'd wait for that to go by. However, if you do the fights with that over your head, then that is the hard mode version for each of them, and you can only get the hard mode credit for each by doing the previous one. So it's pretty cool that they discovered that already, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to know. I mean, especially for all those raid teams that are like, or all those teams that are going to be going in there and trying to down this thing on Mythic for the first time.
Yeah.
All right, let's figure this out. Let's really try to make this into hard mode or whatever. I don't know if you get anything awesome out of it.
That part I don't know. But
Other than
the part I couldn't think of is the
other than a
HK8.
bad time.
Yeah.
Just
The
if you're
HK8 aerial oppression unit.
If you're looking for a bad time, just try this in hard mode. Maybe do it once on regular first, and then go for hard mode. No.
They don't know about rewards yet, but they think that there's going to be more later. There are some obscure achievements that WoW had listed: keep DPSing and nobody explodes, and the Hertz Locker. Both of which are things that they are guessing, but they're not sure, that apply to this. So,
yeah.
In terms of rewards, I guess you get to say that you finished hard mode.
Sure. Maybe a title would be good. Like getting a title for it.
Achievements, titles. There's probably like a mount drop that's for like the last one, I bet, or something like that.
There are so many cool mounts in 8.2, and they are all related to achievements. Pretty much all of them. Not all of them, but like those super cool ones. Those are like the crab mount. It's basically do everything. Do everything. The wheel mount, do everything. Actually, the crab mount is do everything and buy everything and do everything again, essentially, because why not? The wheel mount is do all of the things, and it's nuts. I'm like looking at the list of all of the things you're gonna have to do to earn these mounts. There's no way.
It's going to be a long 8.2 is what I'm gathering from that. Yeah.
Right. Or at least the story is going to be moving into 8.5. Maybe that's it. 8.7 something. I don't know.
And going. Honestly, the HK8 aerial oppression unit itself would be a pretty cool mount. So
right.
I don't know, but it almost looks like Mimiron's head with the with like 2 extra attachments on the side. And just a bunch of lightning coming out of it and big turrets and stuff. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Some of the best mounts really are coming out soon. And one of the things that might be coming out is the B mount.
Ooh.
The B mount. And it might only be for Alliance people, the B mount.
Oh, man.
Worst part of Storm Song Valley, by the way.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. It's not the worst part. Actually, it reminds me a lot of like Conker's Bad Fur Day or something like that, where it's like this kind of happy fun time that's also kind of lethal. So kind of like Miss Pandaria, with the bunnies and stuff like that, and the rodents all hopping around, kind of like that, but with
the
bees.
Deadly bunny in Darkmoon Fair.
Right, and it's actually kind of like Miss Pandaria twice, because you have the bees. And then you have all that sap and goo and all the bug stuff, from
yeah.
Ugh.
I still have that toy that like encases somebody in amber.
Oh yeah,
One of
That's
my
good
favorite
stuff.
ones. Yeah,
Nice.
that's a good one.
Nice. There's also something for 8.2, and this is going to be the big mechanic for 8.2. The essences for your artifact, or not for your artifact, but for your necklace, right? So for your Azurite necklace thing, you're going to get these essences, and they're going to do cool things for you. And of course, the latest one was called Conflict and Strife. The latest one that was data mined. And this one is from PvP that you will get this, but it allows you to use PvP, a trait of your PvP in PvE, possibly.
A predetermined trait. So the game already chooses which one it is for your given spec.
Yeah. And of course, people are like, what are you doing?
What?
What are you doing? Because there's like druids and I think warriors, and there were a couple of other ones where it's like, well, that's not even a choice. I just have to get it.
Yeah.
So they have come out and said, so there are some, like right now, I think for Shadow Priest, which is the one I immediately went to right away, it's my Void Eruption is now instant cast, which is a great quality of life improvement, and it's a DPS increase, and that's awesome, but it's not game breaking by any means. Almost all of our casts are channeled, or you have to be standing still anyway. So like, yay, we get a little bit of a mobility bump, but we only get to cast that once every 30 seconds anyways.
Right.
So, but they have gone out and said that there are some that are obviously must-haves, and like there's one that's like 15% DPS increase for like the raid or something, like crit increase for your party or whatever. That's just like, that's not going to happen.
Right.
So they have kind of said that they're looking for feedback. There's dedicated feedback channels in the forums for the different ones, and that also they're if it sounds too good to be true or too necessary, it's probably not going to stay that way.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, anything on the PTR, you go, okay, it's PTR. It's not live. Don't worry about it. They're just kind of sandboxing this thing and trying to have some fun with it and see what happens.
Sure.
And see how badly
I
it
can
breaks.
appreciate that.
So
I can absolutely appreciate that, and the fact that it's tied to PvP, I think, is a big complaint for a lot of people, and I think that's also somewhat fair. I mean, I get it that people don't like to do the parts of the game that they don't want to do.
Mhm.
The converse argument to that, which I saw in the comments, which is a really strong one, is but what about all of us who are devoted to PvP who always have to do all the PvE stuff to keep that going?
That sucks. I
Which is a
love
good-
PvP. I love
good point of view.
PvP. I miss there being some sort of delineation between PvP and PvE. Like it was really cool when like, oh, this trinket from PvE is good in PvP. That's fun. I'm going to equip it. It's another thing where it's like, I'm not going to be a 2200 plus arena player because I suck. So I'm never going to get that good gear, but I can raid that. And then I'm going to have better gear than those people who are like 2200 rated. That's just like it's just not fair, man. It's just not fair.
Well, I mean, I get what you're saying, and I think that back in the day, back in Wrath or Kata or whatever, I think that there was a better path for that stuff. But now it seems like there's just too many ways to get gear, so it's tough, right? I mean, you don't want to make. I don't know.
I mean, I get it. I understand why it is the way it is, and
Sure.
I'm fine if they swing the pendulum there for an expansion. I would bet money, though, they swing it back next expansion again where it's something, maybe they bring back a PvP power. What was it? PvP power and PvP resilience.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That was, I think, Mists of Pandaria, which is kind of cool, where
That was a smart foray. Like that was smart of them to try that.
Mists of Pandaria was so good. Can we just appreciate it for a second? Man, I miss Mists.
Yeah.
It was
I don't miss the end of Mists, but I miss of Pandaria was
Fair.
really good.
Yes.
While it was still fresh and going and being updated and all that stuff. The 14 months of Siege of Orgrimmar was kind of tough. But yes, Mists was great. And I'll even say it here. Warlords of Draenor, I thought was really awesome. Those 8 months that it was current and being updated and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's only those year-long droughts where I'm like, oh, this is a little tiring.
Yeah. How else are they going to get me to log into Hearthstone though?
Right.
I
Well,
get
and soon we'll have Classic WoW, so I mean, maybe they'll be able to handle that stuff a little bit better.
Well, that's
know.
really interesting because that's shared by your subscription, right?
Yeah.
So if you're subscribed to WoW,
Right.
you've got Classic WoW.
Just automatic. Yep.
That's nice.
So-
That's nice of them.
Yeah.
Thanks, Blake.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess we'll figure all that stuff out. But so now and with the essences, just getting back to that, these things are going to be available everywhere. It's not just through one way of doing it. There will be some during raids. There will be some for mythics. There will be some for PvP. There will be some just laying about, I'm guessing.
Yeah. I picked mine up at
Just-
the local.
there it is on the docks of Borealis. But I can't talk right now. On the dock of Borealis, it's just laying out there. There's an essence. Oof. Somebody
You got
picked
one
that
at the
up.
Dollar General down the street. You go down there, pick one up.
Yep.
I get mine at CVS. It's it connects to my necklace and it gives me essence of Axe body spray.
Wow.
Yeah. For me, you can get yours. Use code KickTripod10 at checkout.
Right.
And
You'll
get
get the-
15% war resources on your next
Your
next 10 dailies. Yeah.
your essence is tactical crotch. Boom. That's your essence right there.
It's like we found that show title, huh, Pat?
Uh-huh.
It's a missed opportunity, John.
Right, it really was. So
Well, we're gonna call that opportunity deliberately sidestepped, but yeah.
oh man. All right. On to other things. If you play a gnome and or a tauren, this is for you. Because they've been working on Gnome and Taurens for a little while. They've been trying to figure it out. They've got now the heritage armor, which looks fantastic, by the way. My God,
does.
the Tauren,
Really?
the Tauren one,
The Tauren's all right.
I
the
think
Tauren one with the big
looks-
eagle
Yeah,
shoulders.
it's very Tauren-ish.
Oh,
yeah,
my
I
God.
get
It reminds me of like the first Tauren that I remember seeing back in the day. Like, I started in Wrath, so
Yep.
not a classic guy by any means,
Right.
but
Me either.
Yeah, but the first time I rolled a Tauren, or the first time I was over in that area, it just reminds me of what I remember kind of seeing, like the vibe over there, and I think that's the best way to.
I feel like I'm back at the flight point of just hanging out in Mulgar anywhere really, but like those big eagle shoulder pads and just the whole thing. I'm like, yes, nailed it. Yeah, absolutely.
Those big eagle shoulder pads were big in the 80s.
Yep.
In pastels.
Right.
Listen, I'm all for my Tauren looking like one of the village people, but it's just I don't know. I guess
whoa. Which one?
Obviously the policeman.
Right. So, right.
I don't know why you had to ask. I don't understand. But like, I don't know. Like, there have been some heritage armor that I'm like, yes, boom, I want it so bad.
Right.
I can understand why a lot of people like the Tauren. For me, it's not amazing, but I don't love the gnome one at all.
I'm not
the
huge.
Purple and orange looking. I don't know, man.
I'm not huge into it either, but I do appreciate the goggles. The goggles are nice.
Goggles are great. That's going to be great for transmog. Anytime goggles are involved, right? Transmog people go nuts.
Absolutely. So. But yeah, it kind of makes them look like they're wrapped up in a cardboard box that has been like, they've like shredded it just like they shredded it just right, and then they kind of taped it on their body.
Labo.
What's that?
Yeah, it's that. It's the or the YouTube video that's like we built a cosplay for $3. Here's what it looks like.
A little bit.
Find a fruit box. Now, the moldy parts.
Of course, some people are going to really love it, and I think that it does kind of try to capture some of it, but I don't think it necessarily hits on all levels.
Yeah, there's like a screw right in the chest plate. I'm like, that's
a strange place.
Holding anything together, like that's purely aesthetic. Which is not like
you know what, John? It's holding together their hearts.
Hearts are off to the sides. They're not right in the middle.
I don't know my gnome.
Yeah,
you learned gnomeology in third.
It's gnome-atomy.
Gnome-atomy.
Yes. So let's see. Show title, maybe. I don't know.
I'd be interested to see like there's a purple thing like a scarf looking thing. If that's part of the shirt that or something like that for heritage armor, that's going to be huge too, because that looks pretty awesome.
That part does look cool.
Great.
Yeah, I mean,
otherwise it's like, let's put a bunch of screws and leather.
I would want more gadgetry, I guess. More. I mean, like they've come up with some really cool weapons with moving pieces and stuff like that. Maybe they do something like that with a piece of armor. That would be really cool.
Shoulders are so important. Like,
I don't mind the
clockworks or something.
Dies by the shoulders, and the shoulders aren't bad. But I'm not going to spend 40 hours leveling a tune so I can.
No,
the shoulders and goggles I think are the best part of them.
So for the gnome, I mean, you just have to for the gnome armor. All you need to do is just be 120. You can start on the quest. The quests are fun, so that's something to look forward to.
That's
whether
or not,
I don't
have to level a gnome to get the heritage armor.
Yeah, 120. You have to have a gnome that's 120, and then you can start on the heritage armor quest.
But I don't have to like. So I clearly just like made a huge assumption, and I might just be an idiot because of this. So in the past with like void elves, you can't get the heritage armor unless you basically level them from 20 to 120, right? I don't have to do that with a gnome to get this.
You have to have one at 120.
I have to have a 120 gnome, and I have to be exalted with
the gnomish, with Gnomegon.
And then it embarks on a new quest.
Yep.
Once you complete the quest, you'll gain a new heritage armor transmog.
Look at that.
Okay.
Look at that. So you get, so you do a little questing.
Yeah, the effort, I guess, matches the amount
I don't know. I don't know if you really want to go there. I don't think you do. I don't think you do.
Danger.
For the Tauren one, you have to be 120 and have Thunder Bluff, that to Exalted, and you might have to do the finish the work campaign. essentially, because I guess that's a part of it. So because the stay of execution part, that's the stuff coming in 8.2. You'll have to complete that and then move on. That's the scenario of protecting Bane, essentially.
Okay.
And looking at the Tauren again, I thought that was just a totem behind him. Turns out that's part of his shoulders. So
yeah.
I'm all for it,
dude.
I guess. Yeah,
it's pretty sweet.
All right, I was wrong.
Shoulders are legit on those.
The
for sure.
shoulders are amazing.
Shoulders are much better than the gnome ones.
Oh
Again, Thorn, I don't think they're bad.
Right. Yeah.
They're just I don't know, nothing to write home about. Like,
Agreed.
if I'm going to transmog for something, I need to be wild about it.
Yeah, it seems a little maybe a little too plain Jane. But again, I'm only seeing the front side of this. I don't know if there's something cool that's going on around it or whatever. But
yeah, the back part is the cool part, and they didn't show it.
Hey, man, when you're running, what are you looking at? You're looking at the back part. All you're looking at is butts. So
that's why I only run a female Belf. So.
Of course. And on top of this, so on top of the new heritage,
like, excuse me,
on top of the new heritage armor, we also have the mount update for both Tauren and Gnome, where now you won't look completely idiotic while you're riding around Azeroth. Boo! Yeah.
Boo! I want to see my stupid little gnome on this giant thing, or my giant Tauren on this little pig-looking thing.
It'll still be that way a little bit. They adjusted the seating position for the gnomes, and then they adjusted sizing a little bit as well. So it's
the worst change to come from BFA.
I don't know, man.
The worst, hands down, the worst thing.
I don't know, man.
If something tanks BFA as like a revered expansion, it'll be this change.
So, being a part of one of the largest guilds of the Alliance,
what's the name of it?
Yeah, I don't remember. So, being a part of that, there have been many complaints, many pictures taken, many I don't know, hopes dashed that a gnome could look cool on a mount. Maybe now this will restore some of that hope. And let's go Alliance, let's go gnomes. Now you can ride that, I don't know, Tundra mount. I don't know.
It's part of the charm, man. Like, these are the little things that just make WoW what it is. It's like, it's when, there's so many points that, you could argue like Dota came from just kind of a weird bug in Warcraft 3 that turned into a huge like genre, right? Mm-hmm. So like, I don't know, man, keep those little non-important things. I hope that they have a slider or switch for me somewhere that says, let my gnome look stupid on a mount.
the death voices that you can toggle on and on and off.
Ooh. Death voices.
Yeah, the Death Knight voices. You know how there's a toggle for that in the options. Turn that on or off.
Yeah.
Always leave it on. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Just always.
Yeah.
You gotta have it. If you turn it off, you're missing a part of the game.
Right.
Yeah, so for me, I'm not ecstatic about this. I'm like, what a great quality of life improvement that makes the quality of my life worse.
Wow. Didn't mean to break your heart on that one. Sorry.
Apparently, I'm really passionate about that.
They're just trying to fix stuff, and you're like, no, leave it broken. If you want it broken, play classic.
There you go.
Okay. If you want it broken, play classic. You'll be fine.
Stop making me try to play classic Blizzard.
It's fun.
I don't want to.
It's a lot of fun.
I do, but I don't want to.
It's a lot of fun.
My level 13 Shadow Priest with like the 15-second kill times.
So good.
Just feel like I'm just lobbing trash.
Right. Right.
Well, boo.
On that note, I think that we should actually just talk about Classic.
Torment awaits.
That's a little bit.
What a great sounder for classic.
That's Lich King. That's Lich King, but I think that the sentiment is there. So,
Do you think that the first person to break up with Arthas called him the Lich King?
All right. So
you need a sounder for jokes that just die. Because you'd be using that whenever I'm on here.
I'll put myself out.
I do have crickets, so that could be a thing.
There you go.
But so now, who's in classic here? John is in classic.
Audibly raise his hand
Thorn
for the audio listeners.
Right. So John.
Yeah.
Have you played much?
Level 13.
Level 13. Priest, I'm assuming.
Always.
All right. And what are your conclusions thus far after roughly, 20 to 100 hours of playing? No, it was probably more.
Did you guys ever have a thing where it was kind of like you would sit a certain way to try to get like your leg to fall asleep because it was cool, because then you could like hit it and you wouldn't feel it? Not
really, but go ahead.
Some people will probably. I passed that one by Katie, and she goes, "Yeah, I think that's."
I would do it when it happened, but I don't remember trying to make it happen.
Yeah, or like, did you ever try to like make your toes have like a Charlie horse kind of thing after a long day?
Maybe.
Okay, maybe. Maybe I'm just. I don't know.
John, you sure seem to like pain. It looks like you do belong in classic.
Yeah. So basically, what I'm getting towards is like classic is pain.
It is.
Classic is, and it's not what I dislike about classic is mostly made up for the fact that I have met and hung out with more cool people in a week and a half or whatever of playing beta than I probably have in, the last 3 months of WoW. Because it is such a forced social experience to get things done.
Yeah, it really is.
And that for me is incredible. I didn't expect that. I honestly was on the side of, I bet that even without all the systems, people are going to find ways to not talk to each other because that's how they're used to playing. They're not going to do it. And it almost seems like the people playing classic really just want to make friends. Like that's just kind of where it is, right? It's just like, just want to hang out with people, and I hate playing video games alone. So I get that sentiment, but it's slow.
Sure.
It doesn't look great. A lot of the systems, man, just you're like, how did this ever get released? Then you'd be like, well, John, it was 2004. Right. So like you have to kind of for a second be like, well, actually that was quite a big deal. We didn't even have an iPhone yet.
Right.
And these systems exist. So
the iPod was just starting to happen.
Yeah,
right?
2001.
Yeah.
That was a iPod.
Thing. Yeah,
it took them like 2.5, 3 years for penetration. So 2004 was probably when like the iPod became a thing.
Yeah.
So you can thank Apple World of Warcraft.
Right. Absolutely.
No, you can't.
Right. You can thank whoever you want. I mean, it's not up to us to say.
Yeah. Did you know that the first paycheck I got, my first job, I worked at a local grocery store called Cashwise. And the first thing I did with my first paycheck is I bought an iPod Touch. First thing I bought. My mom was so pissed. She goes, "That's the first thing you buy is an iPod?" I was like,
yeah.
Yes. Like, what am I supposed to do with the money that I make?
Right.
And now I'm like, man, I wish I would have just started saving then.
Sure.
All right. Sorry.
Sure.
Down the rabbit hole there.
So
overall, cool experience.
It is kind of weird though. I mean, you're absolutely right about the social aspect of WoW, and part of the reason is that it's just you can't get it done by yourself. You just can't. You're always looking to team up with people. Like you're always getting invites from other people when you're fighting the same mobs, so that you can go clear out your logs easier. Or all of your quests and stuff like that. Because guess what? You don't have shared tagging. You don't have that.
Right.
So you have to go through, and especially if you're going for the boss or whatever of the area, you probably need to team up for a bunch of different reasons. Respawn times for making sure that you're tagging mobs appropriately and all of that kind of stuff, sharing in all the loot, all that kind of. I mean, it's great. And then you have professions, which are a huge part of WoW that most people don't understand, because you need to make bandages because
sure, yeah,
everything sucks.
Takes like 3 minutes to replenish your like 50% health. Yeah.
Right. And so it's kind of one of those things where you need people to do all of these different things. Plus it's a beta. So people are trying things that they remembered from vanilla or, before Kata anyway. And they're finding out all of these problems. One of the best things that I did in classic beta so far, the best thing, and all I've done is Duratar. Like I've kind of covered that area pretty well.
Okay.
And the best thing was going into Orgrimmar and not seeing how it is currently. You know what I mean?
Bet.
Going back to the old school Orgrimmar before Kata hit.
Yeah.
And so you have the
running around on the auction house.
And you have yeah. And so you're running around on the roof, you're doing, the flight point is right there as well. You have to go up the post essentially. I don't know what you call it. The little spire thing and go out. And it was just kind of a blast hanging out and yes, it's nostalgia, and yes, it's kind of, I don't know. It's kind of
looks like hell.
Oh yeah. But I mean, it's
dirty.
it may seem kind of like a tactic. Oh my God, nostalgia, that would be so great. But then you go and you play it and you're like, you know what? This is actually pretty cool. I feel like my character is really progressing even early on, which is
That's great.
Awesome because you only have 60 levels. It's not like you have to stretch it out over 120 levels, which seems really ridiculous to me at this point. Like 120. That's crazy.
Yeah, but you still level faster than probably 1 to 60, right?
It's pretty funny though to look at the juxtaposition of the things that they've changed over the years, right? And it's so drastic when you have something like classic versus the current state of WoW, because they're so diametrically opposed. And the interesting thing is that so many of the quality of life changes and so many of the things that have made it almost more friendly for a solo player are some of the things that have really kind of taken out some of the base, almost heart, if you will, of what the game kind of started as. And John, that's what I was thinking of when you were talking about how social the experience has been. And it makes perfect sense. You need to. And Pat, you mentioned that as well. You just absolutely have to in order to get certain things done.
Yeah.
And by accident, you're meeting people and making friends, that sort of thing. And that's one of the great things about the whole experience that I really wasn't taking into account. And, I remember when the big kind of changeover happened around Mists of Pandaria, and you saw a lot of those changes come. You saw them. There were big criticisms at the time of them adding things like pet battles, because they were like, oh, okay, we have Pokemon in the game now. But there were also a lot of quality of life changes. And I forget the nuances of exactly which at the moment that came specifically with that. But there were already things like looking for group and things like that people were kind of like, it's good, but, because you don't have to stand around in a city yelling for 30 minutes to get a tank or whatever.
Like I remember in Wrath, that was before LFD came around. So you had to group up with people from around your server, and you got to know people, and that's how you did things. And
absolutely.
And I think that taking or putting LFD and looking for raid and stuff like that into the game has changed the social system so much that it doesn't resemble the original game.
Yeah, you really needed to have a guild, because you needed to have a group of people that were kind of almost on standby to do things with, because that's how the game was.
Right.
But then the introduction of these things, something that simple, has had just a really profound effect on the social atmosphere, which to me has always been the single best piece of the game.
Right. The other great piece of the game, and actually, John, you go ahead.
So I'm just really worried that people are going to take the context of this and saying that the old way WoW did it is good, and the new way WoW does it is bad. And I do kind of want to address that, though, because as great as the social experience is in WoW Classic, there's a lot of things that don't work about it. There's a lot of things. It's very, very catered to a certain type of person, probably the type of person to podcast about World of Warcraft, person to go to BlizzCon, to listen to World of Warcraft podcasts. So I'm not saying it's not just like, wow, look at how Blizzard ruined their game. because that's not it at all.
No.
Like I
Right.
honestly have been enjoying BFA, I think, the most since I joined and played WoW and was, being really competitive in Cataclysm. But I think J. Allen Brack even said in one of his articles about in one of the interviews that he did, where he was talking about most memorable moments in WoW, and they all kind of revolved around a social experience, right?
Yeah.
And so I think I would love to see WoW find a way to force social experience a little bit more. They kind of tried to do that with removing the automatic LFG add-ons where you all hop in, boom, now we have 5 people to do this really easy world quest, and now we're done.
Right. Right.
But there's also this aspect of I can, it's almost forcing the experience if I can do things daily by myself and do things weekly with my best friends. And so I don't know. For me, I see a lot of people really quick to jump on C Classic is better. Look how WoW sucks. And
and
you're having so much, and it's not totally wrong, but I do feel like it's misplaced. And
sure.
Yeah.
The social environment is very different. And I think that one of the problems is that we're looking at it with all of the things that we now have, like Discord and like all of these different communities that we can actually participate in and talk to people and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, it's just we have a very different way of communicating. We're not going through TeamSpeak. We're not this
Mumble. I'm not paying $10 a month for my Mumble server.
Twitter's a thing, and it's like all of the, social media has cropped up, and so now we have all these different things at our disposal. So of course, the social aspect of the game had to change and morph and do all these things. But it's also nice to go back to Classic, where you are forced into it, and you are forced to go out and meet people and to earn things. That's kind of how I'm putting it, because it's
sure
the early leveling experience is very, very, very different from now, and so just the first 10 levels, you'll go either I love it or I hate it. Either way, and maybe it's a little bit of both, and that's okay too. Because I mean, there are some really weird things, like the mobs are relentless. Just relentless. I saw, and it was really cool. I saw, like the Twitch streamers have been huge lately, just with World of Warcraft. I mean, World of Warcraft has been beating out other games for the last couple of weeks because of Classic. And of course, one of the big ones is Asmongold, and one of the things that is so great about him is that he's willing to do stuff like, I don't know, take a team of, I'm guessing it was over 100 people. They kited a dragon into Stormwind and killed the server. I mean, it's those types of things that you're like, yes, this is what it's all about. You should try to kite dragons into Stormwind or into Orgrimmar and just cause a total crash. That'd be great. It's
be
awesome.
That hunter that uses the glitch to make your T-Rex pet huge and walk around Orgrimmar with that. And absolutely. I love that.
I mean, it's like all of that amazing stuff is going to be coming back on top of Baron's chat and all these other things. It's just going to be a very interesting thing to see how people really respond to it once it goes live.
Yeah,
for sure. And I know that for those guys that are in it, it seems like they are kind of done with invites for the most part. They are tapering
slowing
that
down
off
drastically. Yeah.
And also there's going to be a more stress testing this week. Stress test last week. Oh my God. Last week.
Working as intended, Pat.
Stress test. I was stressed out because I start up the game. I hit, enter, boom. It says you're in queue. You're number 3,000 or whatever.
Welcome to Classic, you son of a so-and-so.
Exactly. And then you get in and you create your character, get out of the character creation thing, and you're all of a sudden you're in the starting zone, and there are all of the same characters around you. Like I was watching in the in the dwarf and gnome starting area. Everybody was a pink-haired female gnome with pigtails running around. You know, it was just crazy. I was in.
Sounds like my
some things never
party.
change.
I was in the orc control starting zone, and they were all just orcs. You know, just saying work, work, work. You know, and so, but I was in there for like a couple of minutes, and then it would crash. And then I'd be out. And then I'd hit it again. I'd be like, all right, you're number 2,509. Yeah. So I stopped playing. But there was other stuff going on that I did not know about until much later.
Yeah,
John,
I definitely did not know.
John, did you participate in the stress test at all?
I did not participate, but I followed the shenanigans pretty closely.
God. The shenanigans were crazy. Like big bosses started spawning and stuff.
Yeah, so the first they had Omar the Paladin like doing kind of the Pied Piper thing to Duskwood,
right?
Which is pretty cool. So everyone's following him to Duskwood to see what it looks like when a bunch of people change zones and basically kind of phase out into a new zone, how it would handle that. And then came back and all of a sudden Blizzard is just spawning these bosses.
Right.
And man, so they were spawning, they spied a Eye of Cthulhu.
Yep.
Enraged the Eye of Cthulhu. Spawned an Onyxia. And then Omar comes back with Patchwork attacking the other bosses. So you've got bosses attacking bosses, and then Ragnaros and a Molten Giant spawn. And it was just kind of nuts. It was just chaos. It was just complete chaos.
And
that's all 7 polygons that you could see.
Right.
Were chaos.
Yeah.
Chaosagons.
That looked pretty cool. And I gave up after, I think I was trying for about a half hour or so. And so I didn't get any of that stuff. But I'm so happy that they did this because, I mean, it just kind of is a very cool little bonus for those guys that were either in the stress test and could make it through that, or those that were watching the stress test, just kind of this fun thing. So, yeah.
Fun thing, but also a stress test. Like, I understand, like, oh, that was not that very fun. But there were some people who were, like, mad on the forum. Like actually, like, felt just justified in their anger that they weren't able to lock. And like, what part of stress test do you not understand?
Stress test is not about you.
Yeah.
That's the beta. The rest of the beta is fine. Stress test is not about you.
And then they proceeded to complain about all the bugs, right?
Right, of course. The bugs that aren't bugs.
Right.
Can we talk about a couple of my favorite of those bugs that aren't bugs that they had to clarify?
Sure, absolutely. Go ahead.
So, my favorite, one of my favorites is quest objectives and points of interest are not tracked on the map or mini map.
I want
classic. I want classic. Oh, you don't want to know like where you're really going or what you're doing. Yeah, it was better that way. Why can't I see where I'm going or what I'm doing? Love that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Another great one. Gnomes and Taurens are the correct size.
Right. Like
size.
I'm guessing that when they redid them, they might have adjusted their height a little bit or something like that. But yeah.
And then player characters do not animate when looting or interacting with quest objects. Example, collecting pumpkins. Just like, all right.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
So just like people are like, I want. Basically, I just want classic, but I don't want classic.
I'm really kind of digging all the stupid stuff. I really want to go ride on a get a Tauren, go ride on a horse, and go to Undercity and see if I get stuck in the damn arches trying to get down into the Undercity. That's what I remember most about pre-Cata stuff was stuff like that. It was like getting stuck.
I would be really curious though. Like, I wonder if I said, hey, Katie, go play classic by yourself. You've already leveled now from one.
Don't do that to her.
120.
Oof.
Go play Classic now and tell me, from somebody who doesn't have this nostalgic, I played 8 million expansions ago, does this like still ring to you as better?
Right.
Or is this purely a nostalgia play?
That is a good question. And I'm kind of curious what people that started Kata or later will say about it.
And I started Kata. So like, well,
Sure.
so I lied. So I leveled up and I played every single expansion, never at max level until Kata. Like, I'm like,
Okay.
I'm going to go back and play WoW. And 55, I'm done. Like,
Right.
I'm going to go back and play WoW. And 65, I'm done. And then all of a sudden, you know, then Kata, it clicked for me. I'm like, yes, I like this. This is fun for me. But I just like, I really want to know how much of it is nostalgia. And that's fine if it's nostalgia. That's
Sure.
totally fine if it is.
Sure.
But I would be really interested to see like a totally green perspective, in the sense that somebody who hasn't been playing WoW very long, because something that actually sucks for current World of Warcraft now is all the systems I have to explain to Katie.
Sure.
She's like, what's Titan Residuum? Like,
Right.
I'm like, no, nobody actually knows. No, just kidding. we know, but like, it's, you know, like, oh, or like, you know, why is this a catch-up mechanic? Or like, why did I log in and all of a sudden get 20 item levels on my neck? Like, what's that about? I don't understand this. Like, how do I
Right.
find out what I'm supposed to, like, how to get to Everbloom? These things where, you know, maybe with a lot less content and a lot less systems, maybe it is more beginner friendly, even if it's a lot more challenging from like a time input perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? You should have Katie do that, and also make her stream it at the same time.
we just need Katie on the show.
That'd be
in
awesome.
One of these weeks.
Yeah. After she does that, we could have her on the show.
An interesting stream would actually be to see somebody playing World of Warcraft at all ever for the first time in Classic.
Yeah, I was talking about how my wife did it. Maybe not in Classic, but she did it before Kata, and she hated it. So
yeah,
I think you have to have an affinity for video games.
Well, that's what I meant. I meant a gamer who's never played World of Warcraft playing it for the first time, but in Classic.
Right.
Yeah.
Can
you believe 4 million people play this? That was what was on the box, right? 4 million current players or something like that on the old Classic box.
I don't remember that at all.
Seeing that?
Wow.
4 million. I wonder if I can find the box.
Studio, I think, right?
Cool. Very cool. Is there anything else Classic that you guys really wanted to talk about? Because I mean, this is ongoing thing. So
I just want to send a shout out to all the add-on developers out there. Who are like backdating their add-ons or whatever it is they're doing to try and make that stuff work over there. Like, just can we get some applause for the add-on guys? Because those guys work really hard at developing these things. Thank you, Pat. Yeah. Because these guys work really hard, you know. And the one that we know the most, just and I know the most is Mystical OS, who does the Deadly Boss mods. And like these guys spend a ton of time developing these add-ons, and to have this unique situation where you're actually kind of like, I'm saying backdating, but I don't know what's the actual term for development in terms of taking something back so many versions, or in some cases for some of the newer add-ons that weren't around then, making a different pared down version or whatever.
And some of it is that, I mean, like the way that Classic works is that the backbone of it is essentially current WoW. I mean, if you're taking a look at all the systems and stuff like that, they're taking current WoW and they're making it read Classic data. So it's kind of a little different. And I don't know exactly how that works with add-ons, but I'm guessing that would probably be a better thing for add-on creators, probably especially easier. Ones that are already doing it. Sure. And I know that there are things like, it's not Elv UI, but it's Tuck UI, right? Tuck UI is a thing that's available right now. Voodoo is out there for Classic, although it is buggy as hell. And there are probably a good... maybe like 20 other add-ons that I saw that are working, although I'm not sure exactly how useful they all are.
Sure. I'd say a surprising amount.
Whereas I'm going to say, for the most part, what I'm going to say is if you're a healer, use mouse over macros. Just do
Yeah.
it. Just do it. It's going to be easier that way, I think. So,
And every time you make one and it doesn't work, just remind yourself, I wanted this. I wanted this.
right.
I wanted this.
Right.
However, I do want to say one last thing on this. I do very much appreciate that they have the spell levels back in because of Classic. I think that's cool.
yeah. The rank levels for all the spells.
Yes. And John was touching on this a little bit earlier. I think part of the thing that is appealing is if you are a min-maxer, if you are a math side of the game kind of person, if you were the kind of person who really, really, really wants to get at making the absolute best of this one particular corner niche thing, and it's OP as hell in your opinion doing this one specific thing, then this is a dream for you to go back to that stuff.
Right. Yeah.
I remember that. I remember going to, what was it at the time? Thoughtbot.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Going back to
Alakazam.
Thoughtbot, finding the best tree for what I didn't know what it was, and like increase your spell damage by 1%.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So much fun. So much fun. All the little min-max things. Oh, it's so cool. All right, we are going to jump to esports real quick. Yeah. Now, as far as esports go, let's just talk about what's coming up this weekend, because there's number one, there's the MDI in a couple of weeks. We're all going to watch this because this is on it, and she's going to be, she's getting ready right now. As it turns out, she's studying right now.
Oh yeah.
To be on the MDI as a sideline reporter. It's going to be awesome. So make sure to check that out. That's next weekend, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So, it's coming up quick. Also, this weekend we have Overwatch League Stage 3 begins.
Woo.
Any big picks from you two monkeys? I know you both like Overwatch a lot.
That would be next. Yeah, so it's going to be next week.
Oh, next week. I'm sorry.
Weekend.
It's next week. I keep on saying that it's coming up because I'm like, oh no, I got it wrong. So it's this weekend.
But we do have the Atlantic Showdown. So we had the Pacific Showdown last weekend, which was Chinese and Korean teams, winners from contenders and qualifiers from a couple other tournaments going head to head. And then now we have the Atlantic Showdown, which is winners and teams from EU that are going head to head this weekend. So if you're Overwatch eSports starved over the Overwatch League midseason break, with Nate Nanzer leaving, by the way, such a big deal.
Yeah.
Nate Nanzer's gone, taking over eSports at Epic Games. So he's going to see Rocket League and Fortnite eSports. So I'm guessing we're going to see some sort of franchise league because that's the only way that it's like qualified to do that over a lot of other people. And it's incredible, but like that's what he pioneered. He pioneered the geographic based like franchise league, and ultimately is regarded as honestly the ultimate salesman for like what Overwatch League ended up being. He actually wasn't very involved in the day-to-day, the actual match rules, all that kind of stuff. It was more like, how do you get guys like Robert Kraft and Jeff Wilpon to sign up? So
right, absolutely.
I guess we're going to probably end up seeing something like that.
Well, that style works. I know that we covered a few weeks ago. We were talking about how COD is coming out with,
Call of Duty World League.
Yeah, city-based tours and stuff like that. So it's going to be, it's kind of a thing that works. And especially now,
to anyways. Well, Owl is above expectations as a league as far as revenue goes. So.
And especially now, because now that people have bought into Overwatch League, they also bought a stadium or are making a stadium. And now how are they going to fill that throughout the year?
Multiple teams have stadiums. So Philadelphia Fusion have one that they've announced. Atlanta has announced one as well. I think I know of at least 3 other teams that haven't officially announced theirs, but I know what kind of they're going to be doing I think there.
Paris was one of them, and Toronto maybe. I can't remember.
So but they're like these 2,000. There's like these esports complex, and so it's going to be exciting to kind of see what that looks like in season 3. But so no Overwatch League just yet. But stage 3 right around the corner. In the meantime, watch some Atlantic Division. We talked about this on Tactical Crouch. Yeah. And the best teams in each region are probably better right now than the top or bottom 40% of Overwatch League. So it's kind of sobering, but like there are a lot of teams. Florida Mayhem, great one, although they're making a ton of changes. Houston Outlaws are another one where they would not finish even in the top 4 or 5 in some of these regions. So
right.
Okay, two
really
things on that.
Overwatch to be
First of all, how has McDonald's not sponsored Florida Mayhem yet?
Right.
And secondly,
nobody
I was going to hold off.
Sponsor the Florida Mayhem right now, man. They're bad.
I was going to hold off on this, but I feel like now is the right time to announce that I am opening an esports field in New Jersey.
Oh, nice.
It'll be called Gnome-atomy Field. John, you're invited to the christening.
Wait,
Crickets.
Hold on a sec. I was off of my sounder game here. Sorry. My bad. That's too late now. But
not even a courtesy laugh from John. It was your term, John.
I know. I'm cringe as so. Yeah.
Oh boy. Also, we've got Hearthstone Grandmasters Season 1. It's continuing week 3 now. And this is where they head-to-head battles, best of 3, using essentially the same deck or the same hero class in throughout their games. So it's kind of an interesting way of doing things.
Absolutely.
And so if you're really into Hearthstone, it's kind of great time to be alive because there's so much of it going on every week. Very, very cool. Plus, if you're into Arena, AWC, KR Cup number 2 is happening this weekend. So,
oh man, I gotta say they are really, there is something for everybody in all of this. And,
it really is.
They're really killing it in terms of the diversity and the availability of all this stuff.
Right, and of course there's always it's not WCS, but StarCraft 2 stuff is happening all over the place. WCS events only happen a few times a year, but you also have all of the tournaments and everything else going on. So that those guys are playing in, which is crazy. It doesn't even matter what game you love. There is an esport for it, which is great. And sorry, unless you really like Heroes of the Storm. Sorry. I don't mean to bring that up, but I felt like it was my duty to bring that up. Unfortunately, I wasn't thinking about it beforehand. Sorry. It's a live show. That's my only excuse, is it's a live show. So, all right. With that, I think we're gonna get out of here. I'm gonna play this music. And Thorn, what are you up to in the next, I don't know, little bit? What are you doing in the next week or so? Anything?
What am I doing? Oh man, you know what? I have a lot of back end stuff for LB Media, the Lagging Balls era stuff.
Yeah.
To do while we have our short hiatus. But we did reach our 4-year anniversary.
Hey, congratulations!
Yeah, thanks. 4 years of the show. I mean,
nice work.
Thanks, I appreciate it. You know, we had a stream Saturday night and we talked a lot about just how far we've kind of come and like the humble beginnings and all that good stuff. But it'll be nice to have a little bit of time off just to really, there's so much behind the scenes that I really need to get down pat and smooth out and all these sorts of things that I just don't have time for on a regular basis. So a lot of the time will be used for that. Cool. If I'm being honest, a lot more time will be used in Overwatch.
Of course it will.
Yeah.
And apparently some of your raid team members, we were doing a lot of like mythics last night.
Absolutely.
And apparently they're going to try to sneak me into your raid team at some point.
Awesome.
So
it's about time. You will be assimilated, Pat.
Right on.
Pat, do you need a raid team?
Well,
not anymore.
I might have one. I'm up to multiple, however, possibly. We'll see. Johnny,
Pat, do it all.
Johnny, what are you up to? What's going on? What's going on in your world for the next week or so?
Taking off for DreamHack Dallas tomorrow morning. So that's going to be awesome. Going to be setting up all the streaming booths with GoXLR over the weekend, meeting some amazing streamers and content creators and fans, hopefully. And so that's going to be really great. I was on Well Met last night for the first time in a long time. They celebrate episode 200.
Oh,
And
wow.
so they invited me
Congratulations
back
to
for
those
that.
guys.
So,
Nice.
yeah, that was really cool. Yeah, so huge congrats to all of them. They brought back myself and Kevin. We brought back some old segments, which were really cool, some old sounders. I got to open up the show, which is kind of cool because I opened up the show the same way for like 140 episodes. And
Right.
I've done it so many times that like it's every time I like check a change in my EQ on my microphone or compressor or whatever, I always say the same thing like, hey everybody, welcome to episode 93 of Well Met. We're a Hearthstone podcast brought to you by bluespro.com from Denver, Colorado. I'm John the Kick Tripod. We're just like, I've just done it so many times.
Sure.
So that was really cool. Did that. So congrats to all those guys on 200. And then of course you can follow me like everywhere at Kick Tripod. I'm going to be on Instagram quite a bit doing noveling all of the stuff that we're doing for DreamHack and whatever the next week. So.
Sounds like a good time, man. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of a big get, DreamHack, for you guys. So congratulations on that as well. I know that for me, I'm probably going to be streaming some Classic this week again.
Nice.
I might not stream the stress test because it didn't go so well last week. I'm like, screw this. I'm going to play my Kultiran Druid. You know.
Kultirans, can we just talk about how great the Kultirans look?
They look amazing.
I race changed to a Kultiran.
Yeah. So did I.
Congratulations.
They look so good. They
It's
look
the best.
so good. I have a monk now named Jeffrey.
Oh, that's lovely. Jeffrey. All right. So I'm gonna be probably doing a little bit of Classic this week, and I'm gonna I'm not gonna. If I join up with your raid team, I'm not gonna stream that. Nope. I have to put on the mature filters for that one. So there's that. So I'm gonna bail out of this finally, and then I'm gonna play this. There we go. So you can also follow me at Pat Krane with a K pretty much anywhere on social media, and you can also follow Convert to Raid on Twitter. There you go. And of course, you can find us pretty much everywhere: YouTube, Twitch, SoundCloud, Spotify, Pandora, the radio.com, everywhere. Wherever you get your podcast, just look for
everywhere.
it. It's there. It's there, probably. We also have our website. If you can't find it on your platform, go to converttoraid.com. That's where our show's at. That's where our audios and videos and the Convert to Raid podcast network is there too, featuring shows from you monkeys and others that join us on a regular basis. By the way, big congrats to the Angry Chicken as well. They made it to the launcher with a video about the latest chapter, the chapter 3 of the Dalaran heist.
Nice.
I just want to congratulate those guys for that. That was great work. Yeah, I think that's gonna do it for the show. John, thank you. Thorn, thank you for joining me tonight.
Pat, thank you.
Chat room, thank you guys. You're very weird. I like that.
I love it.
I like that in the chat room.
Chat.
And to all those guys who take us around with you, thank you so much for bringing us wherever you go. We definitely appreciate that. And we will see you next time. Until then, for all the guys here at Convert to Raid, bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you in Gnome-atomy class.
Oof. Oof. It's terrible.